A little quick disclaimer on this job that I'm going to do. Anything electrical with sharps, first you should have it unplugged. You'll probably notice whilst I'm doing the job it will be plugged in, but it will also be isolated in the box there. So you might see the plug plugged in, but I'll be turning that isolator on and off to isolate the circuit before anybody passes any comments as to why haven't you unplugged it. The circuit's dead. Well, these are the guide bearings on my bandsaw, and they've all seized up, so I've got to change them out now. I've already done that one and that one. I've now got to change that one. They're as gritty as sin. And they're on a cam, so you can adjust the tension between the blade when it runs down here. I'll show you that later. But for now, I'm going to get that poxy little circlip off there and knock this bearing off its post, put a new one on, and set that blade up after I've changed the other three down there. So let's go and knock the circlip out. Got it. I lost it. Well, let's knock this bearing out of here. Another knackered bearing. Much easier to put the circlips on than take them off. Right, let's go and put this one back on the saw. Now I've just got to get the nut and the washer on the back, and then once I've done the two bottom ones, which is a repeat of what I've just done now, I can set the gap and set the tension on the blade. I'll show you how I'm going to do that one in a minute, but I've got to get them two off first. And the washer. Probably can't hear that on the video, but they're really gritty bearings. This pin goes in that orientation, and the serration just stops it from coming back out. This bearing is really gritty. That's the one I'm going to change first. line the bearing up. Well, that's one of the 3 bearings done. I want to go in just a little bit more. Want that pin flush. Right, that bearing runs nice. Well, now all I've got to do is repeat the operation on the 2 rollers that go in here. Again, circlip off, bearing knocked out, new bearing on, put them back together. I'll show you how I set it all up after I've done these 2 bearings. There's no point showing you, you've seen one. Well, that's one of the roller bearings done. So we can stick that back in its hole. Next job, put the blade on and adjust all the rollers. It's the only place I've got to put you, so you're just going to get an overview of what I'm doing. Bottom blade's too slack, top blade's too tight. So, I need the ratchet. Did anybody see where I put the ratchet? Because I can't see it. Help! ratchet, hunt the ratchet. What did I do with the ratchet? I dropped it in the bin. Right, so I've got my blade in between all the rollers. They're a bit slack at the moment. F sharp. I do not advise anybody to do this with a bandsaw. Run it with the guard off. What I want to see now is which of the bearings are touching. And they all are. So I'm just going to nip. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the slack off the blade. And check that one's too tight. That top roller's still too tight. It wants to be a pinch fit, but not a fit that's so tight you can't get the blade out. There is a flat on the back of the shaft, so I'm going to go get a spanner for the flat. $12mm. What I'm after here is being able to slide the blade in. They're like feeler gauges when you set your points. There's got to be a bit of drag on the blade, but it has to go in. I'm happy with that one. So let's see if I can get it a little bit better on that one. Okay. What I'm checking here is that I've got a nice feel on the blade between the bearings, and it is removable. It doesn't want to be too tight. So I'm happy with that top one. Let's see what the bottom one feels like. To me the bottom one feels a little bit sloppy. So that's too tight. That's still too tight. Again, I'm after just being able to slide the blade in. Put the blade back on and see how that feels. So make sure you push your blade in right up to the back bearings. Again, I'm going for F sharp. Job done. Final check on the blade before we put all the covers back on. Top one's perfect. I'd say my top one's a little bit too tight. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, the blade can go back on for its last fitting and trial run. Again, making sure the blade is all the way up to the back bearing. Let's secure it and make it safe so everybody can use it safely. The only time you can run one of these machines without the cover on is to check the blade tension and for setting up the clearances on the bearings. Never ever use one without the covers on, because these blades do snap, and when they snap they go off in all sorts of directions, and they are sharp and they're dangerous. So that's the covers on. Plug the machine back in. Phone will run. All the bearings are spinning. Okay. I'll make the machine safe. Job done. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. There was something totally different from what I normally put out on my channel. There's a bit of crap that goes on in work. A bit of maintenance. Something different again. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please consider subscribing, because there's always going to be oddball stuff appearing on the channel. Thank you. Enjoy.